Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. Today I wanted to talk about the push sequencer. So you kind of have two main sequencers. You have the default one when you just create a MIDI track, which is the Melodic sequencer. But then when you load up a drum rack, you got what we call the drum sequencer. Now both of these sequencers have different what we call layouts. So when you press layout, you can see you have like different name. It's kind of a different version of the same sequencer. The first one by default is the loop selector. And basically usually you have your pads with your sound that you can play. You have the step sequencer on the top, and down the right corner here you have one kind of specificity of each type of sequencer. Now this is a default 909 kit, but I'm gonna use my own custom drum rack, but I place the same element down on the 909: kick, snare, clap, close hi-hat, open hat, ride, and tom. Now with the octave you can go up or down if you have more element into your drum rack. You can also shift if you wanna go down or up more precisely. You can copy element from one pad to another by holding duplicate. You can obviously delete also if you don't want. You can color them differently by using the shift button and pressing on the pad, and you can also mute them. You see they become darker, or solo them also and they become blue. Now if you want to select one of the pad without playing it, because you see here it's always playing, you can just hold select and press the pad. Alright, so the first variation of the drum sequencer is the loop sequencer. And before to start programming, you might want to check your recording length and put to 2 bars. So this will be your default bar when you start to place element. You see? Now here basically if I just want the first part playing, I can just press here and I will have just the first one, and you can press both in the same time if you want to have all together. But if I want just the second part, I can just double click and then I have just this second part playing, or just the first part, and then you can make it even longer. We're gonna remove this and double click. So we just have our 2-bar pattern. Now the grid of your sequencer is basically in 16 notes, so each step is like a 16th. So you can kind of change that. If you press 132, now you have more step in between notes. I'm gonna go back to 116. Now here we are seeing the parameter of your drum rack, but if you actually want to see the MIDI clip, you can just press on the clip and you can now see your pattern. Now the second layout or drum sequencer is the 16 velocity. So again, you have your step sequencer on the top, all your drum pad here, and now here you have different velocity. And I like to use this one for the hats because, for example, the closer hat, you can create easily this kind of crescendo effect. So with, for example, lower velocity on the kick, and then you go progressively right after the one exactly off beat, maybe a bit stronger, and then the one before the next beat a bit lower. And I'm gonna solo, and now we can hear the variation in velocity. Now one thing you can do also to change the velocity and is to hold accent and actually press the pad up to make a higher velocity. Do the same here, up, and this way you have a nice variation. You can obviously do that by holding one note or multiple notes and nudging them, so that means putting them slightly before or after, changing the length, the velocity, the random velocity, and the chance. We're gonna go to the open hat. We're gonna put it straight off beat, and we're gonna go back to the parameter here, and we're gonna select here, and you can see there is choke. So this is helpful if you want your open hats to be choked by the close hi-hat. So you need to put them both in channel 1. Now you might not wanna remove this part, otherwise you won't hear your open hat. So we can just actually mute the step also. And I personally not gonna use it for this track, but it's good to know. Next sequencer is the 16 pitches. Basically, again, you can play your sound here, but here you can have your sound at different pitches, so it can be useful to program tom patterns, for example. This one off beat, and this maybe like this with the key. I like also, if you have a clap, for example, you can have one with a pitch and the next one with no other pitch, so like this here and here, and now we have. Now next one we have the macro variation, and in order to be able to work you need to have macro variation. So on my custom rack I don't have, but if you take a 909 kit like the default one, and you can see here you have the different clean, boomy, lo-fi, hot, and basically is the macro variation that you can have into a rack, either instrument rack or drum rack like here. and that allowed you to switch between the different variations. So I'm gonna play the same pattern into this drum rack, and then this is the clean. You have the boomy, high, hot, but you can obviously then random and then add this variation. And now what you can do is switch between these different variations to having from a clean. But this could be interesting in the live set situation where you can quickly change a kit or take the same drum kit but a little bit more distorted or with a bit more effect for transition or stuff like that. Then here you have the 64 pad where you obviously have more drums in your drum rack where you can play them all. This one again, rarely use it. Now you also have the XYZ sequencer. So this is in order to work, you need to have macro mapped. So I'm gonna do it straight away in Ableton and I'm gonna show you here. Basically I have my drum sampler and I'm gonna use the FX of the rim. So here I have the amount, I'm gonna map to macro 1 and the frequency to macro 2. And now when I go to my drum rack, I have XY. So that can be really great to play, especially if you engage the repeat mode, where now you can play that way. You also have a Z axis, which is basically the pressure. I'm gonna map the decay actually, but I also wanna show you how to, if you wanna change which parameter control which macro, you can press here, hold, and when you press edit XYZ, you can select the one you want. And then change. You see now Y is controlling the filter. I'm gonna put it back to Z, to Y, and then the Z is gonna be the GK, done, and then now the only thing is I need to change the mapping to invert the GK, so that way when I don't press it's at the maximum, and when I press I reduce. The cool thing is also if you record, it's gonna record the modulation. Alright, and finally, last layout, you have the new rhythm generator. So I'm gonna use the right, and basically it's the MIDI generator that was already available in live that they put on the push, and it's just a kind of a generative way of sequencing. So you have basically 4 different parameters that's gonna create your sequence. The first one is the length of your sequence. So if you decide it's 7 steps, it doesn't mean that after 7 steps the sequence is gonna start again from the beginning. It's gonna still follow the length of your clip. So that one thing to keep in mind. Let's actually solo. So that's the length. Then the second one is the density. So the more you put, the more notes you're gonna have. And then you have different pattern variations. So maybe we can put a little bit longer, 12 step, a bit more density. And then you have way much more pattern possibility. So the idea is to find something, and then you can also shift depending on your sequence, like shift the whole pattern. You can put the clip mode to help you visualize maybe, but this obviously you might need. Now, other tips with the drum sequencer, you also have the groove pool available if you want to have a groove, so you can choose like different kind of groove and different amount. You have obviously full control over your groove parameter. If you want to swap sample, for example, you can just go back here by pressing there, then you go into your sampler and you have the hot swap, and you can change the device or you can add a new sample. So I've shown you that you can hold accent and change the velocity, but you can just press accent and select the note you want to have a stronger velocity and be louder. Alright, so now let's talk about the melodic sequencer. So by default, you have this one, melodic 64 note, which is not really a sequencer. let me remove the accent. And first you can press on scale, and you can obviously choose your scale that you want. You can also decide to be in key, so you just play in the key you selected, or you can play in chromatic, so that means like the darker notes are the one out of the scale. So this can be interesting because in techno sometimes it's good to go out of the scale to add this bit of tension or weirdness. Let me put back in key. So you can change the layout or sequential, where you have each octave here. One of the cool features I like to use when I'm in this mode is the capture. So basically it's gonna print down everything I've just written. You can see here it's just there. So then usually I will sort it out. This in Ableton is faster than here. Now you have different layouts that are also very interesting. You have again the 64 note plus variation. So it's the same than with the drum rack, that here you need to have an instrument rack with different variation, and that's allowed you to quickly. This depends on your instrument rack, but when you have like an instrument rack with like the mapping, the macro mapping with like parameter which gonna drastically change the tone of your sound, it can be interesting. Here's the rack I made, it's available for free. It's like made with the drift scent. I will put it in the description if you wanna grab it. And this is basically the same rack just with different variation, and you again quickly create your own with randomizing. And if you like, you can add a new one, and then you have the next one, which is the melodic sequencer. This one is probably the one I use the less. Basically, you have your 8-step here, and then you have your octave from one note to another one here. Now, one of the reasons I don't like is because, for example, it's just 8 steps. So if you want a sequence longer than that, you need to change the page here to have another pattern. So obviously you can change the kind of the resolution, but then you are less precise and it's quite complicated to have a good groove. One of the way I actually like to use this one is that I will reduce the loop length, and I will have, for example, something like having 5, 6 or 7 steps. So if you hold shift, you can go like that. Okay, here is 5 steps. So that can be interesting. I'm gonna put the It's a great way to do polymeter, maybe higher stuff. Maybe we can change the length. So that's one way I like to use it for like shorter sequence, but then otherwise I would rather use the next one, which is the melodic sequencer plus the 32 note. So I'm gonna remove the note, and it's pretty similar. You have your notes here and you have the sequence here. So I've reduced the length to 1 step, and usually how I like to use this one is I will try to find quick a pattern here first on the keyboard, and then maybe and then I will build my sequence like this. Another way I like to use this sequencer is because basically you can play chords, so it's very interesting to find like chords. And once you like one chord, you can. So maybe we're gonna reduce the length. Maybe we can double the length. And finally, our last layout is the same, but with the XYZ mod 2. So here again, you need to have things mapped. And this is, again, great for rhythmical or variation. It's obviously depends what you have mapped. So yeah, just this is an interesting way to either add modulation in an interesting way, or even like finding new tone that you wouldn't have thought just by turning the knob, because this kind of XY pad, it's gonna obviously lead you into values that you wouldn't have with just turning two knobs in the same time. All right, so that's it for the default Ableton sequencer. Now you can have some Max for Live device now more and more that's gonna be able to be compatible with the push. So for example, you have the Sting DYAD from Force, you have the Midiseq. So I'm not gonna talk about it in this video, as its video is probably long enough, but I will put the link in the description of this different sequencer. But for sure in the future, we're gonna see more and more some of the MIDI generators that are already available in Ableton. We might find them in the push tree. Thank you very much for watching. If you like the project, you can grab it on my Patreon. It's a great way to support me. Otherwise, you can just like, subscribe, comment, just to support the channel. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.